Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. And matter of fact, since I'm so crazy about this fight with Pitbull, Cruz, and Angel Fierro, leave me a little $5, $10 so I can get me one of them tortas or some goddamn, what I like, man, them chicken or them steak quesadillas, man. Leave that for the Hood Champion. Let me go get some Mexican food this afternoon. Anyway, y'all better expect somebody to die when these two get in the ring this weekend. Someone's gonna die. Now, if you guys remember, man, that first fight, man, that shit was a 10-round Mexican war. I was watching that fight, and I was fully expecting Pitbull Cruz to get in there, destabilize, tranquilize, and send Fierro's ass back to Mexico with a knockout. That's not quite what happened. To be honest with you, Fierro got very close to knocking out Pitbull Cruz. Had people jumping up out their seats, man, and freaking out because they're like, where'd this guy come from? But nonetheless, man, this is what a lot of boxing fans want from some fighters, and you just don't get it. They want that brutal back and forth battle. And that's exactly what you got when these guys fought. And I think that's what you're going to get when they fight this weekend. Cruz, pressure, and just ran into a guy with Fierro who just had a lot of grit, a lot of resilience. And I'm going to tell you what, man, when they fought this past February, there were a lot of people who felt that Fierro deserved to win. But when you look at the scorecards now, you got to remember, Cruz put some work in early in the fight. So he got some rounds in the bag. But the scores were 98-92, 97-93, 96-94. And I just think you look at the style clash, for a guy like Cruz, I think it was his pressure, his compact power that shows up in every single fight. Cruz is a little short cat, but that dude is extremely explosive, extremely powerful. So if you come in there underestimating Pitbull Cruz, he will do to you what he's done to many of his opponents. He will tranquilize you. And he had Fierro in there trying to figure it out early in the fight. Just by walking him down, man, and ripping them shots upstairs and downstairs to the body. But then what you saw what happened is a guy like Fierro, man, with his style, volume puncher, very long range, very good counters. And then he eventually, man, started boxing, working from the outside, and then started landing good shots when it turned into a dogfight. So he had more stamina down the stretch, and it showed. Another round or two, who knows? Maybe Cruz would have been laying chest to canvas, ass in the air, looking like one of them guys at a Puff Daddy party. But nonetheless, Cruz dominated early, landed a career best 39 power shots in round one. That's unheard of. Then Fierro rallied in the third round, landing the right hook, staggered Cruz several times in the fight. But they were just trading bombs in the center of the ring, and that's what people want to see. If you think about the punch stats from that first fight, if the second fight can be anything close to that, we're going to get another Mexican classic in this Mexican chess match. Total punches thrown by Cruz was 624, 786 by Fierro. Landed 248 for Cruz, 238 for Fierro. Power punch accuracy, 43% for Cruz, 32% for Fierro. And then the jabs landed, Cruz 66, Fierro 85. So Cruz was more accurate and landed cleaner shots, but the volume of Fierro kept him competitive. And this is why I'm always trying to tell y'all, man, sometimes a boxer can lose a fight because they were outthrown. This is the season when it comes to boxing matches. This is the season for fighters to be outthrown, and as a result, have the judge scored a round for the fighter who throws more volume. It's not really about what you land. In some cases, yeah, but more times than not, it creates a perception. If you're outthrowing someone, it creates a perception that you're doing more work. So, fight of the year contender, most definitely. Fierro showed heart. He showed durability. Cruz looked refreshed. He looked aggressive, bouncing back from that loss to Jose Valenzuela. But I just think when you talk about what's coming up this weekend, the major contrast for this second fight from what I've learned compared to that first fight, is Fierro. You know who he's with now? He's with Robert Garcia. Anyone training with Robert Garcia, I have a tough time going against those fighters. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know what the hell Robert Garcia does. What book he was reading, or maybe it's his dad who's there in the gym with him and imparting wisdom, so he got the old man wisdom, right? His fighters win. His guys win. Yeah, he may have a fighter lose here and there, but for the most part, if he has 100 fights, 92 of them, his guys are gonna win. So with Fierro now, it's like they say, Oscar Duarte, always been strong, he was always a pretty okay fighter. Hooked up with Robert Garcia, took him up a notch, cleaned up his style, more cleaner shots, throwing the punches the right way, throwing the right punches. As a result, he's become more powerful. Fierro, they've done the same thing to polish him up, refine him, make a few tweaks here and there. And Fierro's going to come in this room with Pitbull Cruz. I think a more polished, a more better fighter. And he could shock the world. Because you better believe in them first 3 rounds, Pitbull Cruz, he's going to come out aggressive. Doing the same thing like he did in the first fight, man. Ripping body shots, trying to overwhelm Fierro. But I think Fierro is going to be ready to deal with it now. And I got to give all the credit to Robert Garcia. He's going to be much sharper. I don't think he's just going to, allow Cruz to get off like he did in the first round. And expect to see him using his jab and footwork. And almost like Mikey Garcia, Robert Garcia's brother, he's going to keep Cruz off balance. You watch. He's going to box. Because he can hit, but he can box too. And you watch. You're going to keep Cruz off balance. I think there's going to be more feints from Fierro. Because Cruz, you got to understand, Cruz is all gas, no brakes, but he know what he ran into in that last fight. He knows that shit. He knows that was a tough fight. He knows he almost got knocked out too. He knows another round, we may not be talking about Pitbull Cruz right now. But no matter what happens with Pitbull Cruz, he's going to keep his fan base because he's a dog. Pitbull Cruz is a fighter who leaves it all in the ring. And that's what a lot of us want to see. The ultimate mashup, crash-up, but now you got a Mexican mashup, crash-up. And I think somebody going to die in this ring, you know what I mean? And I'm saying that jokingly, so don't... A couple of your seagulls and McNicholases who fly in the comments, oh, you're wishing death on the fighter. If you don't have a sense of humor, you got to get off this channel. Go on over there with them bozos and McNicholases. You seagulls can squawk about and be miserable. We joke over here. Anyway, man, I expect to see Fierro clinching, tying up Cruz to get out of danger, turning him, pivoting, and I also expect him to punch out the clinch when the referee is trying to say break. I expect to see him maybe punch on the break and do a couple of little shady things. I see him being more smart and taking more chances because he's got to find a way to not get so behind on them scorecards early in the fight. And for anyone saying, oh, so now you're saying because he's with Robert Garcia, he's going to fight dirty? No, but I mean, why not? Marcos Maidana was doing whatever he had to do to try to beat Floyd Mayweather, right? Robert Garcia believes in that. Fuck it, it's a fight. Fight. Make the referee do his job. You know what I'm saying? And, in my opinion, I got to be careful because before I used to say that shit, but after watching Katie Taylor in the second fight with Amanda Serrano get away with murder, I don't say that no more. I used to say, yo, if the referee lets you come in there and shoot somebody, shoot him. But now I don't say shit like that because that Katie Taylor Serrano, that second fight, those headbutts and shit, that was just horrible. But anyway, the first 3 rounds are going to be interesting, but rounds 4 through 7, that's where it's going to be a war in the trenches, man. It's going to get ugly, rounds 4 through 7. And this is what we're going to see, man, who is able to up it. Cruz may start looking to land those hooks. He's all about his hooks. He'll shoot an uppercut. His jab is not the most effective, but I expect him to start trying to land those hooks, man. And Fierro with Robert Garcia, so he's going to be ready to counter. He's going to be ready to show a better defense. And I think this is going to surprise Pitbull Cruz. And the bottom line is, I'm giving a lot of credit to Robert Garcia. I think his influence is going to show. I think Fierro's going to keep his hands up. He's going to avoid just trading recklessly just because he's Mexican, the Mexican machismo and the Mexican mash-up, crash-up and all that bullshit. Nah, he's going to say, okay, you're Mexican. We know you got heart. We know you'll fight. I'm Mexican too. But yo, Robert Garcia going to tell him, we also are intelligent fighters as well. So when you bring all that together, you get an invincible force. And I think you're going to see that, and I expect him, because Cruz got tired at last fight, I expect him to have a concentrated attack on Cruz's midsection. You know why? Because Fierro can get there because he has like a 4-inch reach advantage. I think a 4 or 5-inch reach advantage. So he can get there on Cruz. So just watch this fight, and the overall dynamic is going to be very unique and a stark contrast to what we saw in the first fight. And I think in those middle rounds, I think the crowd can go crazy. I really do. I think they're going to go crazy, man. And I think that's where you're going to see the fight swing either towards Cruz or it's going to swing towards Fierro and Robert Garcia. But if you ask me, man, I really think Fierro and Cruz boils down to chin and conditioning. If the conditioning holds for Fierro, he could outbox Cruz, steal rounds, and win the fight. If Cruz lands big shots, especially to the body, it could break Fierro's rhythm, confidence, and you can see that Fierro may not make it to the finish line. But the bottom line is, if they do get into the last round, you better expect, that shit to be basically Independence Day inside the ring. Fireworks. And that's why I say, jokingly, somebody gonna die in that fight. Because them two guys, if they get to that final round and it's a close competitive fight, they're not going to try to leave nothing to the judges. They're going to come out there swinging, banging. Turkey Al-Sheikh, he don't have nothing to do with this fight card, but I'm sure Turkey Al-Sheikh will be watching this shit, man, wishing that his guys could put on a fight like this. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, both fighters know it can be career-defining. Expect them guys to show up. Final prediction, I think Cruz is going to pressure, body shots, a lot of volume. You got to bet. He's the betting favorite. So I don't even know how to say it, like he's an under 500 or something like that. So you ain't going to make no money on betting on Cruz. But on Fierro, man, if he can counter smartly, jab, clinch, follow Robert Garcia's game plan, he's going to win. And he's a guy, he's a plus 350 underdog. So you bet a little bit of money on him, you could come out doing pretty good, especially if he wins. I have a feeling he's going to win. I'll be honest with you, but I don't know. So, but if you ask me for just a quick prediction, I think Cruz by decision. But if I sit back and really think about it and analyze it and break it down, and I think about how Fierro had so much success late in the fight, now he has Robert Garcia, extremely intelligent trainer. I think Fierro's not going to get behind on them scorecards early in the fight. I don't see him getting behind, and I think he could win the fight. I think he can win. I think he may win the fight. Like I said, I don't like to go against Robert Garcia, man, because you go against Robert Garcia, man, you end up losing money. You know what I'm saying? So I'll rub up the hood champion crystal ball around Thursday, Friday, and then I'll give a final prediction. But Cruz should definitely be the favorite to win. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.